Adventure starts with the right gear, and it all starts at shackshop.us. From stylish women's swimsuits and premium camping tents to paddleboards, underwater drones, and dependable dinghies, we have everything you need for your next outdoor adventure. Whether you're exploring the water or relaxing on shore, gear up with quality products at unbeatable prices. Visit shackshop.us today and make every adventure.
Nearly 6 months after the mysterious disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, investigators believe they may finally have a new lead that could break one of America's most closely watched missing person cases. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has publicly explained why investigators made the unusual decision to release 2 previously unreleased ransom notes connected to the disappearance of the 84-year-old Arizona woman, who is also the mother of NBC Today show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. The sheriff says the decision was carefully considered and made with one goal in mind: generating new leads from the public. Authorities hope that someone somewhere will recognize the handwriting, the wording, or the unique phrases used in the letters, and come forward with information that finally identifies those responsible. Nancy Guthrie vanished from her Tucson area home during the early morning hours of February 1, 2026. Investigators quickly determined that her disappearance was suspicious. Evidence at the home suggested she had not simply walked away voluntarily, and law enforcement soon began treating the investigation as a kidnapping. The case drew national attention almost immediately because of Savannah Guthrie's high-profile role as co-anchor of NBC's Today show. As the investigation unfolded, surveillance footage, forensic evidence, ransom communications, and emotional public appeals transformed the disappearance into one of the year's biggest criminal investigations. Speaking publicly about the investigation, Sheriff Chris Nanos said investigators reached a point where withholding the documents was no longer producing results. Instead, detectives now believe the public could provide the breakthrough they desperately need. According to Nanos, investigators noticed distinctive language, writing style, and phrasing throughout the ransom notes. Those characteristics may seem insignificant to most readers, but to someone who personally knows the author, they could immediately sound familiar. Investigators hope a friend, co-worker, family member, or acquaintance might recognize the wording and contact authorities. Nanos emphasized that even the smallest tip could become the missing piece investigators have been searching for. The first communication arrived shortly after Nancy disappeared. It demanded $4 million in Bitcoin. The note claimed Nancy was alive but frightened. The writer warned that failure to pay would increase the ransom to $6 million. Authorities became especially interested because the message contained details that had not been released publicly. Those details suggested the writer possessed knowledge about Nancy's home or had been present during the crime. That immediately elevated the note from a possible hoax to potentially critical evidence. The FBI and local investigators treated the communication seriously from the beginning. Only days later, investigators received another message. This one carried a dramatically different tone. Instead of demanding money, the writer claimed Nancy had died shortly after being abducted because of underlying medical problems. The note stated the kidnappers never intended for her to die and claimed she had been buried somewhere in nature. Authorities have never confirmed those statements are true. Instead, investigators continue treating the communication as evidence while working to determine whether it accurately reflects what happened or was simply intended to mislead law enforcement. Throughout the investigation, Savannah Guthrie has remained remarkably public about her family's ordeal. She has repeatedly appealed directly to those responsible. In emotional videos posted online, she has asked anyone involved to reveal where her mother is. Rather than expressing anger alone, Savannah has urged those responsible to do what she calls the right thing. She has said she believes it is never too late for someone to help bring closure to the family. Her pleas have touched millions of people across the country and kept public attention focused on the investigation. The Guthrie family has offered an extraordinary reward of $1 million for information leading to Nancy's recovery or the arrest of those responsible. The FBI has added another $100,000 reward. Officials hope the combined reward money will encourage someone with knowledge of the crime to finally come forward. Investigators continue encouraging anonymous tips if witnesses fear retaliation. Despite 6 months passing, Sheriff Nanos insists the case is far from cold. Investigators continue reviewing surveillance footage, examining digital evidence, processing DNA, and evaluating every new lead. Forensic testing has proven especially challenging. Officials previously revealed that hair recovered from the scene failed to produce useful DNA evidence. Meanwhile, a mixed DNA sample containing genetic material from multiple individuals continues to be analyzed by laboratories across the United States, including the FBI's laboratory in Quantico. Sheriff Nanos says these complicated forensic examinations require patience and precision. Although progress has been slow, investigators remain optimistic. Investigators believe the letters contain more than ransom demands. The specific choice of words, grammar, sentence structure, spelling, punctuation, and writing style could all identify the author. Behavioral experts frequently study communications from criminals because people unknowingly reveal aspects of their education, background, personality, and regional speech patterns. Even a single unusual phrase may remind someone of a coworker, neighbor, friend, or relative. That possibility ultimately convinced investigators to make the letters public. Some behavioral experts now believe the two notes may not even have been written by the same person. Differences in tone, language, and emotional content have prompted speculation that multiple individuals participated in the crime. While law enforcement has not confirmed those theories, investigators continue examining every possibility. Whether one person or several individuals were involved remains unknown. Authorities have not publicly identified any suspects. Although the investigation has entered its 6th month, Sheriff Chris Nanos continues expressing confidence that the case can still be solved. He believes someone possesses information capable of identifying those responsible. That individual may not even realize the importance of what they know. The release of the ransom notes represents another attempt to spark recognition. Sometimes a seemingly insignificant memory becomes the breakthrough detectives have spent months searching for. Law enforcement hopes exactly that will happen here. For Savannah Guthrie and her family, every passing day brings another painful reminder that Nancy remains missing. The uncertainty has become one of the most difficult aspects of the ordeal. Without answers, hope and grief exist side by side. Investigators continue asking the public to study the newly released notes carefully. Someone may recognize the handwriting. Someone may recognize the language. Someone may know exactly who wrote them. If that happens, Sheriff Chris Nanos believes this heartbreaking mystery could finally move one step closer to being solved. Until then, the search for Nancy Guthrie continues.